And we have continuing coverage of that fireworks warehouse explosion in Yolo County. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Tonight, at least 7 people are still missing from the site south of Esparto. Their families are demanding answers about what exactly happened. And this all started last night on County Road 23 and County Road 86A. The explosion rocked the Esparto area. ABC 10 viewers tell us they felt and heard the explosions coming from the facility as plumes of smoke rose hundreds of feet into the sky. Tonight, we're learning more about who could be involved. Cleanup efforts continue tonight. Firefighters are going through the rubble of the fire, piecing evidence together.
They're expecting another long night as they work to completely put out that fire. And here's the deal. Our Garshpal Sangha has been there from the very beginning on this story.
Yeah, and he joins us live from Yolo County tonight. We're now a day into all of this now. Garshpal, what are you learning right now?
Yeah, Chris and Laura, those roadblocks are still in place. We're just next to Highway 16 and Road 86, right next to that Dollar General. But this is one of the many road closures that is preventing some of the homeowners from going back into their homes. As police conduct their investigation, they're calling this site very dangerous. That is why they're saying they're taking a very mitigation approach to be careful, make sure they just don't go in. So they have used drones to surveil the area, make sure they eliminate any hazards that they might face. Now, fire officials say they have been prioritizing efforts to gain access to the facility. Those efforts began this afternoon and into the evening. And once they have established it safe, then they will begin recovery efforts and bolster investigative efforts. The search continues for 7 people who are still missing, a day after violent explosions at fireworks warehouse in Esparto. Fire crews have yet to fully enter parts of the site, saying it is too dangerous to navigate because of hidden hazards and scattered explosives.
This is a very complex and ongoing investigation. It's a very complex and ongoing incident that is not completely terminated or mitigated. So we're going to keep the public and our responders' safety in the utmost regard throughout this.
This aerial footage shows the aftermath. Crews are also using drones to scan for unstable areas while working with the property owner to pinpoint where victims might have been during the blast.
Don't have a definitive time frame. We are just working, and when it's safe in time, we're going to work as a command staff to do it when we feel it's safe for the public.
Cal Fire State Fire Marshal is leading the investigation.
I just sure hope we find those that were lost, and I hope that they're okay, and hope that we can be with their families during this time.
Sarah Hooper was home during the blast. She thought it was an earthquake.
When the second explosion happened and then the third happened, I was like, all right, it's definitely not an earthquake.
The business behind the pyrotechnics, Devastating Pyrotechnics, released this statement saying, quote, "Our hearts and thoughts are with those we lost, their families, and everyone impacted in our community. We are grateful for the swift response of law enforcement and emergency personnel. Our focus will remain on those directly impacted by this tragedy, and we will cooperate fully with the proper authorities in this investigation." With buildings flattened and fields scorched, the blast has left both physical and emotional scars in this tight-knit community. The search for answers and for the missing continues. And back out here live as you take a look at CHP vehicles that is down there. Now they've set a perimeter of about 1.5 miles to 2 miles around this facility. That is where those road closures are. So evacuation orders still are in effect, and ATF is also helping officials here with this investigation. Now CAL FIRE has said that those evacuation orders that they want to try to shrink them, but at this time, no word on when that's going to be the case. But this remains active for the second straight night. Reporting live from Yolo County, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
Still very early in the investigation. Garshpal, thank you. Keep us posted as you learn more.
Meanwhile, families of the missing are demanding answers tonight as the site of that warehouse explosion continues to smolder.
Among the 7 people still unaccounted for is an 18-year-old on his first day at work. ABC 10's Luke Clary spoke to his girlfriend, who says they're expecting a baby.
The site of the explosion still smoldering in the distance. Desperation behind the caution tape almost a mile away.
Sorry, had a baby on the way.
In the midst of a media scrum, Ciana Ruiz is in search of answers. Her boyfriend, 18-year-old Jesus Manceses Ramos, one of the 7 people still missing. and the father of her unborn child.
He saw it as a new chapter in our life. He was excited.
Ruiz says it was his first day on the job, a short-term fireworks gig alongside his brothers Johnny Ramos and Junior Melendez, both in their 20s, both also still missing. Hours after the explosion shook homes and triggered evacuations, as fire crews had to hold back for their own safety, Sienna pressed officials on the perimeter.
If anybody had even tried saving them anything, nothing.
So we sought answers for her.
Are you communicating with their families? Because there are some folks here who say they don't know what's going on.
There has been communication with family, and I understand that it's not the communication that everybody would probably want to hear. But again, we are doing our best with the information that we have.
Still not satisfied, Sienna took matters into her own hands.
3 people that we've been focusing on. We were here since yesterday and have yet to receive any information, have yet to see any efforts, and have yet to see anybody go to try and find anybody at all.
The reason we have not been on site to do that is because the danger presented.
Okay, but you guys are supposed to protect us from danger, and you guys are supposed to deal with the danger. So why isn't that you guys aren't dealing with it yet enough?
A tense exchange, officials explaining.
We are doing what we can from the site through aerial investigations.
They're probably struggling, stuck under the debris.
Sienna said her piece and walked away, holding on to hope under the weight of her worry.
They were all 3 incredible men who had so much coming for them. And I'm just praying to God some way, somehow, that they're okay.
And that was our Lou Clary reporting. Esparto is a small and close-knit community. People living there tell ABC 10 today that they weren't even aware a fireworks facility was just down the road. Many questions remain tonight regarding this incident.
State lawmakers are speaking out tonight about the explosion. Senator Christopher Cabaldon represents the area and says the main focus must be on keeping people safe.
Our regulations and compliance is normally pretty good, but when it comes to protecting people's lives, pretty good's not enough.
He called the explosion horrifying and said the state is working to make sure something like this never happens again, including taking a closer look at fireworks safety measures.
Our hope is that the investigation will help us discover, was there a violation? Was there a significant error? Or are there rules and regulations that aren't up to snuff to making sure that we're protecting people and property? So we'll see as the investigation proceeds. One of the things that we hope to learn is our efforts to protect people strong enough? And if not, then we'll be on the job to make sure that we fix that.
New tonight, we're getting new insight into the fireworks industry. ABC 10 talked with an expert sharing some perspective on how the industry works. What happened in Esparto is something fireworks companies across the country are talking about.
Everybody in the industry is very concerned about what happened, and we need to learn from it.
Julie Heckman is the executive director of the American Pyrotechnics Association, a national organization promoting the safe design and responsible use of fireworks. These 2 companies so far listed with operating in some capacity in Esparto were not part of the association. Heckman says on occasion, some companies may need to store fireworks at another location because of ATF regulations. She says sometimes there's an ATF licensee and they're maxed out on what their storage magazines are able to hold. If they're getting a new supply and can't store it at their property, they might contract with someone else for space and find legal storage somewhere else.
I have heard of this situation before. So typically a licensee, which is what we would call Black Star or Devastating Fireworks, they're licensed by ATF so that they have a regulated licensed storage facility for fireworks.
Heckman says a company can make an arrangement contractually to store their products separately, but from the other company at the same location.
And I've been advised that it's really not a storage facility, that the magazine storage was off-site and products were brought in, and that this was what we would call, under ATF terms, a pack house or a prep house.
Heckman is not involved in the investigation into the fire and explosion in Esparto, but she explained investigators would be looking at the specific licenses for each company and their responsibilities.
The responsibility, I think, would be separated between the two entities, that just because they're on shared land, ATF would require that the company responsible for the product would have to maintain the inventory records, the distribution records, and things of that nature. They would be responsible for it.
We're also learning this fire happened at Black Star Fireworks, owned by Esparto Fire Protection volunteer firefighter Craig Cutright.
It's a warehouse that stores fireworks for multiple Northern California cities and counties. The company had a valid license to operate through 2026. Many cities tell ABC 10 they've had to cancel their show or find another way to celebrate. The Cloverdale Lions Club says their annual 4th of July fireworks show is canceled. Explosions destroyed their fireworks. And this year's Lodi Lake fireworks show has also been canceled. Chico and San Jose canceled their show. And the 4th of July family blast in Placerville at the El Dorado County Fair is canceled as well. The Yuba Sutter fireworks show, scheduled for July 4th, will now take place on Saturday, July 5th at Beckworth Park in Marysville.
And we're told those counties were working with Devastating Pyrotechnics, the company storing fireworks at the facility. Yuba Sutter released a joint statement saying, quote, "Devastating Pyrotechnics has been a trusted partner and cherished part of our regional fireworks celebrations. Their team brought us not just fireworks, but joy, pride, and tradition to our community on Independence Day."
Now, we've been streaming the latest updates on this fireworks warehouse explosion on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. We have today's full news conference, as well as the interview with the girlfriend of one of the men missing. The app is free to download on your TV.
And turning to your weather now as we take a live look outside over downtown Sacramento as we count down to the big 4th of July weekend. And Brendan, the new month has been off to a very hot start, but you are tracking a cool down just in time for the holiday.
Just in time. Not to spoil it, but I will say that Friday, the 4th of July, will be the nicest day of the next 10 days. It was stormy in the Central Sierra today. Tahoe saw a severe thunderstorm warning around 4 o'clock this afternoon, but right around 7 o'clock or so, things really started to fizzle out, and that was the end of that. And I really don't expect to see much more, if anything at all, in the way of rain tomorrow. 66 at the moment in Sacramento, 71 in Stockton, 78 in Modesto, 81 Colusa, 81 in Auburn, 54 in Truckee, and 53 in South Lake Tahoe. Still pretty breezy through the Delta, about 25 miles per hour in Fairfield, but not a lot of wind in the valley, 5 miles per hour or less. So it'll be just a little breezy tonight. That's going to be about it. 66 degrees at the moment as we look at downtown. That is 2 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. And like we talked about, those winds less than 10 miles per hour. We're going to start off tomorrow morning in the 60s, and tomorrow afternoon much more seasonal. No more upper 90s. I've got low to mid 90s, and it gets even better for Friday. We'll have that forecast coming up a little later in the show.